If you want this to be your best year yet, things are going to have to change. You know that, your coach knows that, your family knows that, yet you're remaining stuck. And one of the main reasons you're remaining stuck is because you've become complacent. And by you, I mean me. I mean all of us. There are some things in our life that we have become complacent to, and we've made excuses as to why we are not making progress. See, if you want things to change, if you want different outcomes, you're going to have to change it up. If something's not working, it's time to try something new. And this is a brutal truth that I had to bring to my own life as well, which is why this lesson feels so recent, so strong for me. And it has to do with a number of things in my own life, like my health, my motivation, my business, my journey to become an Ironman and beyond. And in all of those things, I've found that what honestly has stopped me from making the most progress was honesty with myself. Being honest about what I didn't want to do. And oftentimes we find reasons to justify it. As an example, I knew after my training, after I finished becoming an Ironman, that I needed to take a break. Now, for me, for my own insecurity reasons, I felt like I had a void to fill and I had to keep training, had to keep pushing, had to prove my worth to others. And so I kept training. I ignored my health. I ignored the signals from my body. I pushed myself through injury into a place where I don't know if my body's ever going to fully recover. I overtrained for about a year straight, and it's honestly wrecked me. I ignored the obvious change. Now, most things might not be that obvious where I couldn't walk at one point, but you might be ignoring something in your life that is brutally simple. And if you want to make this your best year yet, you're going to have to face the uncomfortable truth, and in some cases, face your own fears, insecurities, or shortcomings in order to make lasting progress. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first, but I promise you that temporary discomfort will yield far greater results than staying in your comfort zone. And in this video, I want you to know by the end of it, you're going to know what you need to do. You're probably not going to like it. So let's get into it. If you're having issues with your health in any capacity, understand that your physical health is built upon the foundation of your mental health. This is an increasing, I would say, trend that we're finally starting to pay attention to, which is that if you know what you need to do, but you're not doing it, it's a good chance that your mental health is the reason. And it doesn't mean that you're depressed or falling behind or suicidal or anxious or any of these things, which I have experienced each and every one of those and beyond. What you might be experiencing is a lack of willpower, lack of motivation, which are inconsistent and unreliable at best. Because these things are fleeting, it goes based off of emotions. However, if you're unwilling to do the things that you know you need to do, you won't do them. Which means it doesn't matter how much you study, listen to podcasts, read books, hire coaches, talk to people. I coach privately, and these people that come to me want me to tell them what to do after I've already told them what to do. And the catch is that they're not doing the things they're supposed to do because there's underlying discomfort that they're unwilling to face. So one of the things I want to encourage you to do is to face your fears. And fears can look very different for a lot of people. In some cases, fear involves change, or rather change causes fear. And as a result, we are uncomfortable changing our routines, our workouts, our nutrition. So when you think about your health, your physical health is above, or rather a result of your mental health. You have to take care of your mind first. Once you take care of your mind, the rest of the things fall into place. When I look at health overall, and in making this your best year yet, without your health, you will not have wealth or relationships or any other progress in life. Everything hinges on your physical health, because if you don't have the ability to do the things that you want to do, you will not take action, right? So in order to take action towards your dream goals, in order to make this the best year of your life, you have to have the ability to, which is your physical health. If you don't have your physical health, then you don't have the ability to take action. But if you don't have your mental health, then you won't have the motivation or the desire or the willpower to actually have the ability to do the things you need to do. So it's this series of events that must happen if you expect to make progress. Now, I can't go into all of the details that are necessary for a full life reset, but I can tell you how to reset your physical health in this episode, and that's what I intend to do. With your physical health, we can organize our thoughts into four categories. We've talked about one of them, which is mental health. Your mental health is king, it is priority. Without it, you've got nothing. If you are unwilling to take care of yourself, check in there first. Once you have your mental health in check, we're going to explore three other areas. Your nervous system, which is tied to your mental health, but not directly. It's the rest of your system. It's how it's connected to your physical body. This is your stress, both physical, mental, emotional, relational, and a number of other versions of stress, but also how you feel things, how you hold on to things. If you have a knack for not forgiving people when they've wronged you, you will feel that. You will hold on to that. But two, once we get beyond nervous system health, is your physical body, your ability to push, your exercise, your activity level, functional health. And beyond functional health is your nutritional health, your digestive system, how you burn and store energy, how you metabolize things. And of course, in cases like mine, where there might be some metabolic dysfunction, I have type 1 diabetes. So that does complicate things for me, but it does not mean that it's an excuse to lay down and give up and quit. Too many people look for excuses. You are not one of those people, because those who look for excuses will find them. I have been that person at one point or another in my life. So if we are to pull back the layers of how you can make improvements with your physical health, number one, with your nervous system, you need to down-regulate your nervous system. See a lot of people talking about how you need to increase cortisol early in the morning, cold showers, going to Antarctica and jumping in butt naked. Yes, those are things that can improve, but if we're not taking care of ourselves as a baseline, none of that matters. So day to day, building consistency in your routine, understanding that if you don't take care of yourself, it will hold the score against you. It will build up. So when we look at our nervous system as a whole, what can we do to support our nervous system? Honestly, these are the things you already know you need to do. Get quality sleep, 7 to 9 hours. Both quantity and quality. So the amount is important, but quality sleep. What does your sleep hygiene look like? Do you have a bedtime routine? Are there any lights at all in your bedroom? Is your bedroom cold enough? Do you have silence, or is it partiers next door? I live in a college town, so that one's kind of tough. Sometimes people are making noise outside, but your sleep hygiene and the environment in which you sleep, critical. Your sleep is the only time your brain has to detox. So while you're asleep, your brain is literally cleansing itself of the trash that builds up during the day. Caffeine doesn't help with this. So reducing caffeine, getting ready for bed many hours before it's even bedtime, restricting food for the couple of hours leading up until bedtime. A number of things you can do that you likely already know, but prioritize sleep. That one is massive. Second, if we look at first light, grounding, mobility, these are all good things as well. Breathing exercises and meditation can be extremely helpful, but we're going to gloss through these because that's a whole different episode by itself. Second, your physical health, your functional health, strength, and endurance. We need to look at these as two separate things that go together like puzzle pieces. If you want to improve your physical health, which I guarantee you will also have a nice circular backward benefit to your mental health, it's incredible how much they go in line together. But you need to look at this as a system. It's not fix one thing and I'm going to lose weight, or fix the other thing and I'm going to fix my IBS, or whatever it is that you're dealing with. Everything has to go hand in hand. So when we look at our functional health, our strength, your muscle strength is critical for soaking up glucose, or some other people like to refer to it as glucose disposal. So for me, blood sugar regulation is top of mind. I actually believe that I have a bit of an advantage when looking at blood glucose regulation because I wear a CGM. So I've got one on my arm here. You can probably see it right there. It tells me what my blood sugars are doing 24/7. Every 5 minutes I get updates. Right now my glucose is at 124 milligrams per deciliter. That is slightly elevated, but for a type 1 diabetic, pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, the reason I think it's an advantage is that I know what exercise does to my blood sugars. Today, I mowed the lawn, did some errands, and I did a nice weightlifting session and wrapped up with some farmer's carries. What I saw my blood sugars do is that during that time that I was exercising, I was burning glucose. My body responded well. My blood sugars went down into the 80s and 90s for the whole workout, which is exactly where they should be. Those are non-diabetic ranges. I can tell you that exercise is one of the single most efficient ways to improve insulin sensitivity. In a matter of 10 to 20 minutes, I can improve my blood sugars. Fascinating, but only I know that as a type 1 diabetic. So I'm sharing that with you. 10 to 20 minutes can make a world of a difference in how your body processes glucose, metabolizes food, and disposes of glucose, because glucose left unchecked will lead to fat, but it also can lead to other issues down the road. So, strength training being one of the best to improve insulin sensitivity. It makes your muscles act as sponges. So when you work out, you break down muscle tissue, right? It's like you squeeze the sponge. And after you're done working out, your muscles want to fill back up with stored glucose, also known as muscle glycogen, and soak glucose back up into the muscles, which they take from your bloodstream, which helps to regulate your blood sugars or your blood glucose levels. So strength training, amazing tool for overall health. It's also going to help reduce the risk of osteoporosis, osteopenia. It helps to reduce the risk of depression or mental health struggles. It's one of the best things out there. So strength training. In addition to strength training, though, I want you to consider some zone 2 exercise, which means I could be riding a bike right now and still carrying on this conversation. Zone 2 exercise means you can talk as if you weren't exercising. It's super easy. You shouldn't be sweating and like dying on the bike or, sprinting. It's very easy exercise, but maintained at a constant level for a minimum of 30 minutes. The reason that's important for you is that at 30 minutes, you cross into the aerobic threshold. So any exercise sustained for 30 minutes or longer at 70% of your maximum heart rate, or essentially going for a walk or a light jog for 30 minutes or more, you enter into aerobic, which is where you shift from burning primarily blood glucose into primarily fat. This is the most effective way to burn fat. So you have the most efficient strength training to break up, mobilize fat tissue, and then zone 2 training or light cardio where you oxidize fat, right? And you can also boost your mitochondrial health. So a ton of great benefits there. Your heart and lungs will thank you as well. So best case scenario, couple strength training sessions per week, couple cardio sessions per week, exercising at least 5 days out of the week. Leaves you for 2 rest days, plenty of time to recover and not stress your body out too much. If you overtrain like me, you might run into injury. Now, second area of improvement, actually we're on third. We already covered nervous system. So third is your nutritional health. Looking at nutrition, again, as a type 1 diabetic, but also as a certified master fitness trainer and nutritionist, I can speak on this. I would say that there is no perfect diet, especially within health coaching. We've noticed that there are, I would say, a few best diets out there, but they do require that you look into your own body. What does your body do with the food that you eat? How do you feel after a meal? Does this get me closer to my goals, or is it pulling me further away from them? Do I store extra fat? Do I feel energized? Do I sleep better, or am I waking up in the middle of the night with stomach aches? You have to be in tune with your body to know what it needs. I have, again, kind of an advantage here. When I eat food, I can see on my glucometer, which is the finger pricking device, but also on my CGM, which is the device on my arm that updates my blood sugars. I'm at 126 now. That's 2 points higher. Like when I get excited, adrenaline and cortisol can also increase blood sugars. But with nutrition, I can see what different foods do to my blood sugars. So can you. But there's this trend online that I absolutely disagree with, which is slap a CGM on, eat something, and then that tells me if it's good or bad. That is false, absolutely false. Because if you believe that a slight rise in blood sugars or blood glucose is a bad thing, then you're wrong. You're dead wrong. It just means that you haven't balanced that meal, or that you might be insulin resistant. So you might be unhealthy and then eat food, and that response to food looks unhealthy on a graph because you're unhealthy. The truth is that the CGM is a data point. It gives you a response. It tells you what's happening underneath the hood, but a blood glucose spike is a symptom. It doesn't inherently mean that there is something wrong with that food. It might mean that your system is not handling it well. So if I were to make general recommendations, which I don't typically like, but in the case of a video, this is the best I can do outside of private coaching. Generally, if you are going to have carbs, let them be slow carbs. The huge trend right now for low carb, keto, carnivore, I think it's trash, but that's just me. I think it's trash because it's being It's being given out as this blanket statement of this is the best for everybody. You could say that carbs are the best for everybody. I would still disagree with you. There is no one best diet for every single person. We all are different. We are unique. We are created as individuals. Because of that, we find that there are different diets that work better for different people. Okay. But if you're going to choose carbs, there are healthier carbs out there. Soda, that's carbs, but it's fast carbs. Salad with beans and quinoa, those are slow carbs. They have fiber. So, what I want you to think about is carbs that have more fiber. Quinoa, black beans, sweet potatoes, right? These are great options. And if you are going to have carbs, it helps to balance the meal with other proteins and fats and fibers to keep things smoothed out with digestion. Now, on your plate, I'd like to see enough protein to keep you satiated, but also to support muscle growth. I would say in general, it's helpful to aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of target body weight. So if I want to be 200 pounds, which was a goal of mine that I achieved recently, I'm also a giant though, so don't judge me. I would consume 200 grams of protein per day if 200 is my goal, right? And at that point, I think I was 185. So to gain to 200, my goal protein while pushing myself hard in a gym was 200 grams of protein per day. Now you might be thinking, Matt, I'm trying to get to 120 pounds and I'm currently 140. I want to lose 20 pounds. That's fine. Aim for 120 grams of protein per day. Slow carbs, fill the rest with fats. Now, with fats as well, fats are more dense. They're going to keep you full, but they do count for extra calories. There's 9 calories per gram of fat versus carbs and proteins. There's only 4 calories per gram of those. So you are going to get more calories per bite, but it does keep you more satiated. However, this is where people let calories get away from them. They put dressing on their salad and then boom, there's 100 calories right there, right? At least. Usually it's 200 or 300. Or they'll put some butter on their toast, but a little bit thicker than they should. Oh, there's another couple hundred calories, right? So fat can get away from you. So keep the serving sizes tight, but none of these things should be demonized. It's not that you shouldn't have fats or proteins or carbs or any of these things. It's that you should blend them, everything in moderation. Now, I ran through all of this because I am feeling fired up right now because I'm seeing a ton of information online that is absolutely wrong. And one of the most recent ones that insulin causes weight gain or fat gain, which is a joke because I'm insulin dependent, which means I take exogenous insulin. And I'm also a fitness model. I should say I was. I'm living in the past. That was many years ago. Was a fitness model, am an Ironman and a health coach. And it's not causing any issues, right? Here's the other fun fact for you. Every person on earth requires insulin to live. Your pancreas, if you're non-diabetic, produces insulin, and that doesn't guarantee that you're going to be fat. There's people out there, lots of people that are very fit. And if we all need insulin to live, how did they get fit if insulin makes them fat? There are so many misconceptions around health, and I want to begin to demystify those. But again, if you want to make this your best year yet, you have to take care of your physical health, because if you don't have the ability to go chase your goals, you will not get anywhere. But if your mind isn't right, you will not have the motivation or the ability, the willingness to set yourself in action, right? So if you want to achieve great things, take care of your physical health so that you have the ability to achieve great things. If you take care of your physical health, but not your mental health, you will become unwilling to take care of your physical health to achieve great things. So there's a tier system that we have to respect. You can force yourself into physical health, into shape, but it doesn't last if it's not sustainable. So again, back to the nervous system and back to your mind. If it's not sustainable, you will fail. And it's time you hold yourself accountable. Now, the last section for today is doing hard things. Now, this is a phrase that I love. It's also a phrase that I struggle with sometimes because I've leaned into doing hard things instead of doing the necessary things. I think about what looks good to others because this is hard. I'm disciplined. I'm consistent. And as a result, people praise me. He's so disciplined. He's becoming an Ironman. When the reality was becoming an Ironman wasn't the hard part. The hard part was working on myself so I could be a better dad, a better husband. The hard part was sitting down and doing the boring work for my business and making it into a 7-figure business. The hard part is often the thing that we find excuses to justifications to avoid doing by doing other hard things that get us more accolades. You see what I'm saying? So the tricky part about doing hard things is that only you are going to know what the hard thing is. And the only way you find that out is by looking inside and identifying what you've been avoiding. What are the things that I've been making excuses for? What are the things that if somebody else told me they were struggling with, I would coach them differently on? And that's the question I want to leave you with today before we wrap up. If somebody else were living your life and you could see every single piece of it, what would you coach them on? What would you encourage them to do? And what would you encourage them to stop doing? I hope this was helpful for you. Take care of your mind so that you can take care of your body, so that you can go out and become the best version of yourself. Go get it.